All right, man. Motor City Sports Talk. We in the building. We're gonna talk a little bit about some draft decisions that can come back and bite the Detroit Pistons in the behind. Appreciate everybody for showing up, man. Share the video. It's the best way to help me out, man. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, so it can be part of the notification gang. But it don't really work over here like that, so it makes me no difference. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button. But yeah, if you didn't see last night, Bola went off. You know what I'm saying? For the Denver Nuggets, he made his NBA debut. I don't know if that was because of injury. I'm thinking it was. He fell in the draft because I think concerns of passion, I think weight issues and durability issues, and they just said he just didn't really interview well. And the Pistons had an opportunity to take him twice, and they didn't. They traded away that 30th pick or something like that from the Bucks because they didn't want to, go over the salary cap anymore and go into the luxury tax, and you get taxed for that. But ultimately, I think being cheap is going to bite the Pistons in the behind. They could have had Kevin Porter Jr., and I believe they could have had Bola as well. And even if they couldn't have Bola, getting a second-round pick is nothing. You know what I'm saying? And now Denver's put together some high-risk, high-reward type players as far as, Michael Porter Jr. and Bola. If one of those or both of those are healthy, Denver can have a nice young super team of length and athleticism, and they can see themselves with like at least an all-star in Jamal Murray, a superstar in Jokic. I mean, I think the ceiling for Bola and Michael Porter Jr. are superstar status. So, I just feel that not drafting Porter, and I'll talk about him a little bit more. And he had a really successful rookie season. Even more than they first round pick, they upper first round pick in Darius Garland, and in Cleveland I'm speaking on, but. This is what you're talking about. An organization, that historically doesn't draft well. Darko, Rodney Whites. I mean, you can just keep going on and on. And some of the, Kentavious Caldwell Pope idiot draft selections that, the Pistons have had over the time. And you see situations like this where you in perfect position to draft a dude like Porter, which, if you bring Porter and Bola on, let's just say the Pistons still finish where they finish at. You know what I'm saying? And you don't see Bola this year. You see Porter. He does well. Then you in a position where not only do you have Wood, Diambo, you have Bola, which you can let Thon walk. You can move Luke, or you can let Langston walk, and you got Kevin Porter Jr. You have a nice young team. I mean, it's even in the cards where you legit probably could let Christian Wood walk if you wanted to, which we don't want that to happen. But we saying, just with the talent around them, that team would be like, this would have, to be honest, this should have been the replacement for not trading Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond 2 seasons ago at the trade deadline. Drafting these two dudes also would have soothed out the pain of using Andre Drummond for like a second round draft pick. You would have had your shooting guard of the future, because some people think Luke is a shooting guard of the future. He's a Vinny Johnson or Lou Williams or Jamal Crawford at the most. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be a starting guard in this league. I think Kevin Porter got a potential to be an all-star caliber guard. So you would have had your shooting guard in Porter. You would have had your small forward in Diambo. You would have had, Christian Wood. Some of y'all want to say he a 4. I think in this league he could play 5 too. You'd have had a 4 and a 5, and it would... Bola, he's a dude that can, he kind of like Diambo and Christian Wood. I mean, he can play the 4, the 5, the 3. Obviously, he physically needs to get stronger. But, he could have been a spark plug off the bench. So, really the Pistons could have been ahead of the curve and kind of righted they wrong with not trading Drummond and Blake Griffin, ahead of the time and got assets for him. But at the end of the day, I think the Porter Jr. thing is going to bite them in the butt. I was watching some of his rookie highlights, and this kid is a tremendous left-handed talented player, and I just think it was just a huge mistake for them not being able to, draft him over some money, which, honestly, you are already paying a hell of a lot of money with Blake and Andre Drummond. So I just think they're going to regret that, not plugging those two players in. I feel that they should have plugged them in and drafted them and made it work later. You got to believe that you can develop kids. You got to believe that even though Kevin Porter Jr., I don't think is known what he done in UFC, you got to be able to prove that you can rehabilitate and you can build dudes' confidence up. you're not gonna just always get church choir guys. You know, that's what make the draft unique in the NBA and different from the NFL. One of the things that it makes different from the NFL, is that with the NFL, there's so much, there's 7 rounds and undrafted. So, really, they don't have to take the risk on you in the NFL if you're a troublemaker. Not early on. In the NBA, it's a little bit different. Because once you get out the top 7, I'm going to be nice. It's really a crapshoot after that. So for you to overlook a player because he's too short, or you to overlook a player because he had a little bit of trouble in college, really, you got to take that risk. And with Kevin Porter Jr., it's going to risk they wish they would have took. And when you strap for talent, you can come in this season believing in Luke Kennard and believing in Kyrie Thomas all you want to. The fact of the matter is neither one of them delivered this year. Come on, that's the facts. They was coming in believing that Kyrie Thomas was going to get him something. Luke Kennard was going to give him something. Blake Griffin was going to give him something. Reggie Jackson, Andre Drummond was going to have this huge year and earn this huge contract. And the only thing that truly worked was Derrick Rose living up to expectations here. That's it. So they were so confident in an injury-riddled team and injury-prone players and inconsistent play from, Andre Drummond that they just passed up on 2 talented players, which they shouldn't have. These 2 players, I think Kevin Porter Jr. would have changed life here instantly. You could have started him and brought Luke off the bench and preserved Luke's youth with his knee injuries. Bola, he wouldn't have gave us nothing this year, but just looking at the talent, the length, how many dudes can come up the court and handle the ball? Will Thon was that guy too. In high school, he was the dude bringing it up the court and, dribbling, and it hasn't worked out for him. But you can't put his shortcomings on Bola. You can't. When you see a dude that's 7 foot, whatever he is, with a 7'8" wingspan, he can rebound it, defend the rim, dribble up and down the court, and he can get buckets. And don't forget, you can say a lot about his attitude. I know he broke his foot and all that in college, but he comes from a professional background. His dad played for the Washington Bullets and was pretty good. So there has to be a professional thing inside of him. But, I really do think they're going to regret not drafting these guys. And I think it's going to set their franchise back again. I think the rebuild would have been a lot easier, first off, with trading Blake and Dre 2 years to the trade deadline. And it could have been a lot more easier by drafting these 2 guys and just building up on talent. That's what Denver done. Denver don't care. They say Kevin Porter got a fucked up back. He was the number 1 player coming out of high school. Why not? Bola here? Are we not going to take Bola because we got too much talent? We got too many scorers. Will Barton, Gary Harris. We got a power forward in Paul Millsap that can do some of those things. We got Torrey Craig, Monty Morris. Malik Beasley at one point. One of them got traded. We just got too much talent. We're not going to take them. No, they said shit. Let's stockpile on cheap talent. And if they materialize, then either we got assets or we got superstars for the future, all-stars for the future. Denver has the right mindset as far as building a team in the middle market. The Pistons don't. Hopefully Troy Weaver changes that. Talent is talent. In the NBA, you don't have the luxury that the NFL has, is when talent has injury or when talent has character issues, you can't afford to pass up on talent in the NBA for that. Because then again, the talent level isn't as deep as it is in the NFL. So, like I said, man, Bola performance last night in the scrimmage sparked this. And I was like, man, and I'm watching Kevin Porter Jr. Famous did I think he did a highlight reel of him. No, I seen a highlight reel of him on YouTube and just tearing it up in Cleveland. I didn't notice how good he was, man. So, they kind of compared him to like James Harden because he left-handed, and I kind of could see it in his game. He could have definitely helped the Pistons. I think he had over 11 or 10 points per game this season, and that's good playing for John Beilein, right? So I do appreciate everybody for checking in. Don't forget you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel, Cash App, PayPal in the description. Best way to donate is share the video. Don't forget to check out our Detroit Piston one-on-one playlist. Check it out. Piston Talk playlist too. Check that out. One time for the one time. Motor City Sports Talk. It's your boy CJ Goodfella. We gone.